Welcome back to Bestie Tales. You guys, look at what we've got here. We've got a whole setup. We've got a whole ass co-host here. This is my wonderful older sister.
This is me in the flesh.
This is Chooch in the flesh. We are so excited, you guys. Our first ever YouTube for the podcast.
It is.
Our first ever video.
We're on the tube.
We're doing it. We're really doing it. And if you guys are new here, Bestie Tales is a segment of my podcast, Bestie Chats with Soph, where you guys send in your stories and we read them. All different kinds of stories. A lot of them have been like crazy dates, a lot of Tinder dates, Hinge dates that have gone wrong, friendship breakups, family drama, life advice. A lot of you guys are asking for advice. A lot of you guys are giving advice. It's just been awesome. And it's just a fun little segment. And I thought, I don't want to do this alone anymore. I'm going to have, I don't even know what to call you, my best friend.
Your built-in bestie.
Your built-in bestie. My sister. Yeah, Louise and Chooch. Maybe we should call it that. If you guys know, you know. But if not, then go listen to the last episode with Chooch.
The last episode that we did.
Do you have anything to catch the besties up on?
No.
Nothing new.
No, nothing new.
Except for the fact that let's start off with saying that we tried to film.
I was hoping we were going to touch on this because I feel like this could be, you know what? Scratch it. This could be a segment that you do for your own podcast. Your social battery running so fucking low.
Yeah.
To the point where you can't speak.
Well, also Mercury hit into retrograde.
There's a lot that was happening last week.
And it felt like our energy was sucked out of us. I literally felt like a Dementor came, you know, in Harry Potter where they just
took everything.
Took everything, and we tried to sit down and record it. First of all, the vibes were not right. It was overcast outside, which really affects your mood. And I couldn't speak.
No, it was
nothing
so
was
bad.
The wiring from my brain to my mouth, it was like I was speaking gibberish.
We tried to read some of these stories, and you guys would probably watch and be like,
"Are you okay?"
They didn't do my story any good.
Yeah,
because of the way that it
was bad.
Yeah.
So we just called it. We're like, let's just scratch it. Let's get some rest. Let's recuperate. And here we are now, feeling a lot better. The sun is shining.
It is shining.
Mercury's now a week in a retrograde. So now we're like, okay, we're used to this feeling now.
Eclipse season.
What is happening? In 2 days.
In a couple days, we should watch it from the balcony.
Well, at the time that we're recording this, by the time it's live, it's already been, the eclipse is eclipsed.
We will be eclipsed.
We will be eclipsed already, but it's going to be eclipsing in 2 days, and I feel it coming. The energy in the air has been funky.
Well, okay, it's actually quite crazy because apparently this eclipse season is going to be affecting cardinal signs the most, which is...
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so it's the signs that kind of kick off each portion of the year, essentially.
Yeah.
Capricorn, Aries, Cancer, and Libra. All three.
Again,
of my
Aquarius.
My big three.
Yeah, Aquarius is nowhere to be found.
Okay,
Thank you.
This is my moment. Thank you.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Capricorn Queen.
Okay.
Through and through.
I'm a Capricorn sun, an Aries rising, and a Cancer moon. So this eclipse season,
go off.
Better eclipse so fucking hard.
Yeah.
I better come out of it a new person.
You need it. No offense, but
thank you.
Yeah,
Louise.
It's needed.
Thanks, Louise. Appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's kind of the catch up. We got nothing else besides the fact that I feel like we're just starting to feel somewhat normal again. I don't know. This week was weird. It was Nash's birthday, which was so fun. Flew in one of his best friends and surprised him, which was just amazing. But I don't know. I just felt like the energy was off. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Something's in the air, but now we're coming out of the fog. I was like in a brain fog this week, and now we're out. And now we're going to share some of your guys' bestie tales. And I'm really excited. So I'm going to start off. No, go ahead.
Go ahead. I just feel like if you're watching this and you need to know where do these stories come from, there's a link in Sophia's Instagram bio.
There you go.
In which you can
go
also
in. It's linked in the show notes.
Oh, it is linked in the show notes. Oh my God.
I love how we can say that because it's like we hear it all the time where it's like, oh, this is linked in the... It's linked in the show notes, you guys. We're that official now.
It's down below. But
click the link.
Send in a story. If any of this resonates with you, or if it doesn't resonate with you and there's something that you think would resonate with a bunch of other people, send it in.
And also, this is all anonymous. Unless if you leave your name when you submit it, because it's a Google form. When you submit a Google form, it's completely anonymous. I have no idea who submits it. So these are all anonymous unless if you guys decide you want to leave your name. And that's what makes it fun. All right, let's get into it. Hold on, I need to put on my spectacles. I really want to get LASIK.
Okay, Dad.
Each day, no, I know. Each day that goes by, I'm like
Jesus
closer and
Christ.
closer to getting LASIK because my eyesight is getting worse by the second. Okay, here we go. Help. I cannot stand my best friend's boyfriend. Sorry, it's long. First of all, never apologize for it being long. That's what we're here for. I cannot stand my best friend's boyfriend and I need to know how to get over it. My best friend and I have been best friends since high school and are literally the closest thing we have to a sister and have never drifted apart. This is her first ever boyfriend and she met him on Hinge. First ever Hinge date, too. They've been together for a few months now and I cannot stand him. And unfortunately, I've no good reason not to like him. She's happy and he's good to her, but he's literally like a saltine cracker. He is so bland and boring and quiet, and I've tried so hard to like him. My fiance was trying to tell me how he actually felt about my friend's boyfriend, but once I got it out of him, he even said he's pretty boring and a little strange when we first met him. I told him he seems nice because I wanted to try so hard to like him. We've hung out a bunch now all together, and I've gone into each situation with an open mind and no judgments, but I cannot change how I feel. It's not even a situation where you're like, oh, I wouldn't date him, but he's fine to hang out with because I literally dread hanging out with him. I want to so badly for her to be happy, but there is a gut wrenching feeling that she could do better. I've tried so hard to be reflective and think, am I just protective of her? Would I think anyone wouldn't be good enough for her? I'm also in a very happy and fulfilling relationship and just got engaged, so I'm not jealous and she makes plenty of time for me, so I'm not feeling neglected or anything. Even with that mindset, I can't shake this feeling. I'm also worried my friend is going to stay with him because she doesn't want to go back into the dating scene and then this saltine cracker will be in our lives forever. Hopefully her genes take over their kids. Otherwise, that'll be another advice submission 10 years from now. So my question is, how do I force myself to like this guy? I've tried it all. She's my literal sister, so I can't avoid him, and it's killing me not being able to tell her, but I know I can't, and I just have to figure out how to like him. Help.
Not the saltine
Yeah,
cracker
raise your hand if you've had a
boyfriend.
friend who's dated a saltine cracker.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. But let's take into mind that this is her first ever
Mhm.
boyfriend.
I was gonna say.
First ever Hinge date that she went on ended up turning into boyfriend. As somebody who has
Uh-huh.
had a later experience of dating than I did,
Uh-huh.
I had my first boyfriend when I was, what was it, sophomore? Between freshman and sophomore year of high school. You had your first
Boyfriend when I was 22 years
22.
old. I had just
So
graduated
she
college.
just graduated college. So I feel like you probably have some better advice here.
I do. From a sense of now being super far removed from that relationship and being able to break that relationship down from the viewpoint of my best friends
Mm-hmm.
who always knew that he wasn't the person for me, but continuously did support me because it was my first experience,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And you're blinded. You've
You're
got like
so
blinders on when
you're
it's your
so
first
blinded.
experience.
And when it happens a little bit later in life, I think there's a part of me that just wanted to stay for the sake of it's been so long and I have not had anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I like need to stay. I need to hold on to this.
Mm-hmm.
But how life works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Life does her
And
job.
the most important thing that you can do is just be there for your friend.
Mm.
And some days are going to be a little blander than others if he's around, but it sounds like you guys have a really good balance
Yeah.
of
Which is
being able to
important.
spend time and continue to fight for that balance no matter what. And maybe this is her person. Maybe he's just a bland dude. I don't know. If you feel like you know your best friend and you know
Mm-hmm.
that she deserves better, it's likely the universe is going to give her better.
Yeah, it's gonna give her
It's
better. And I just remember like when you are first in something serious with someone, you just have this
la
tunnel
da da
vision.
da 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 da.
Yes, no, I should we even go further?
I don't
That's
think so.
exactly what it's like when you are in love for the first time and you have your first interest come to you.
Yeah.
Especially if it seems like, you're engaged, which means that you guys are probably, I'm guessing 20s, 30s maybe. And if it's her first time and it's a little bit later in life, it's double blinders are on,
Oh, it is. It's like, okay, whew,
this is it.
this is it.
So yeah, I think just keep supporting her, keep being there for her because like Chooch said, the universe is going to work her magic and
Totally. And
mhm,
you never want to let a boy come between your friendship.
mhm.
So focusing on that, being supportive,
You just got to channel your inner asshole
and
buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You really do.
you just gotta ride it
And
out.
you
You
just
just gotta
gotta
be there for her
totally.
and be there as a shoulder to cry on when shit hits the fan, because not saying that it will, and we're not wishing that upon her, but the universe works her magic. And if you
Lucky
don't feel like it's her perfect compatible match, it'll come out eventually, you
totally.
know?
And lucky for you, you don't have to spend one-on-one time with him,
Yeah, you're
right?
yes, that is very important.
All right. Hey, bestie, I thought I'd share my worst best friend breakup since I feel like this is a common thing with the girls in their 20s. To keep the beginning of the story short, I was best friends with a girl who we'll call Mary, from 4th grade until freshman year of college, where we lived together in a dorm. That was my first mistake. Do not live in a dorm with a friend from high school. During freshman year, I realized things about Mary that hadn't become completely clear until then. For one, she was incredibly jealous of me having other friends. We had 2 other girls in our dorm room, and I became very close with one of them. We'll call her Jada, almost immediately. Mary truly did not like that I was branching out, and she excluded herself from everything I invited her to. I felt like she was abandoning our friendship for no good reason. The other thing I realized about Mary was that she was easily negatively influenced by love interests.
Mm.
Oof. Mary had her first real boyfriend who she met in our hometown, and he ended up at the same college as us. We'll call him Nate. Mary and Nate's relationship was very rocky, and Nate controlled many aspects of Mary's life, which I believe to be borderline abusive. Since this was Mary's first boyfriend, I'm sure it was hard for her to tell his behavior was not okay.
Mhm.
For better understanding, none of our other friends at home liked Nate. He was sketchy and off putting. Mary would spend nearly 100% of her time outside of class at Nate's dorm, and this was what dried out our friendship for good. Throughout freshman year, Mary wouldn't listen to me or anyone else about Nate's behavior and things we would see him do when she wasn't with her. Oh, it was apparent
Yikes.
that Mary only would realize his wrongdoings on her own, since Nate had a very gaslighting and manipulating way with her. Eventually, it came time to pick up roommates for sophomore year. Jade and I definitively wanted to live together, but we decided that it was best for Mary to not live with us anymore. Mary took it upon herself to sign all 3 of us up for a new
Mm.
dorm together with little to no talk about it. At that point, I knew that I had to get myself out of the situation. This was right when COVID hit and we were all sent home, so we weren't sure the next semester was even going to look like. Regrettably, I texted Mary about our friendship, saying that we had to discuss things in person. She basically declined my invitation to meet up and talk. I ended up breaking things off over text after that.
Mm.
It has been almost 4 years later, and I still hold so much shame and guilt over doing that to Mary. I realize now that she lost herself in a bad relationship and needed some type of support, but I couldn't be that for her when she was constantly showing me that she didn't value our friendship. The one thing that this taught me is that friendships go both ways, and if someone is not matching your effort, look into that. Put yourself first and always do what's best for you.
That is a good
Mm.
lesson. I feel like that is so common when it comes to, first of all, living with your best friend. I've had a story time for myself that I shared where I also lived with a childhood best friend of mine, ended up having a huge blowout so bad. And we ended up rekindling the friendship, and we're totally fine now, better than we were before. But that's super common. But also, you have to realize you're 18 when you're a
Totally.
freshman in college. We're inherently more selfish. So, when it comes to having your first boyfriend, having the blinders on, you're so young, you're experiencing all these things in college, it kind of makes sense. I feel like this is a really, really common story that's happened to
So many
a
people in
lot of
college.
people.
So
And
many people.
it's always like you think of those friends and those friendship breakups a lot, and it just sucks. You still think about all the time. It's like a literal breakup. Sometimes it's worse than a romantic breakup, is a friendship breakup. And it's something that you think about a lot, and you can still have sadness in the ending. But like you said, that was really good advice at the end, that friendships do go both ways, and recognizing that at a young age
Totally.
is really difficult, I feel like.
I think honestly, you can tell that there's growth
Mhm.
from that story, and then kind of wrapping it up with your lessons that you shared. It sucks.
Yeah.
That situation does suck because until you become secure in yourself, that is such a term that's thrown out so much with relationships, but
Mhm.
it just goes just as much for friendships
Mhm.
because you want to be happy for your friends when they meet people that bring a new light into their life and things like that, and you have to be secure in yourself to know that they're like that's like not threatening,
Mhm.
you know? And Yeah, I'm sorry about that situation, but
Yeah.
I also do agree. I think when you go to college, if that is your choice, the whole
College experience is
college
fucking
experience is
wild.
so wild, and go out and meet new people.
Yeah, that's your chance to meet new people.
And I am a huge proponent of finding a random roommate or
Mhm.
meeting someone. Or I met my roommate at orientation,
Yep.
and she's gonna walk in my wedding one
Yeah,
day. Like,
she's still
she's
one
one
of
of
your
my
best friends.
best friends,
Mhm.
best people that I know. And yeah, I don't
That's your
know.
time. It's your time to meet random people. It's your time to go off and pop the badus,
And
girl. Like, meet new people,
pop
meet new
it.
boys, meet new girls, have fun, do all the crazy things. Get it all out then, because when you graduate, life hits you like a bullet
Life and
train.
adulting
Yeah,
sucks.
adulting sucks. Don't grow up. Just don't do it.
Don't do
You
it.
know, just stay forever young. Forever young, like Jay-Z said,
Peter Pan syndrome, but make it cute.
but make it cute. Okay. Next story. My boyfriend and I have been dating for a little over a year, and I truly feel like he's my person. We never have had a big fight or a test of our relationship until this past weekend. The past month, I've been dealing with a lack of interest in sex / low libido. It's been making me feel self-conscious, guilty, and extremely anxious. I was afraid to bring it up because I didn't want him to take it the wrong way or feel like I didn't love him anymore. I internalized the feelings for a few weeks and even tried taking supplements to help try and solve the problem on my own. Last weekend, we were hanging out and both took some gummies. That'll bring some stuff out. After a few hours, it triggered a full-on anxiety attack, and everything that had been weighing on me on the past month was spilled to him. He was shocked and hurt that I was keeping this to myself, and it made him question himself, and I felt there was something wrong in the relationship. All weekend, we talked about the situation, and thankfully, he's been so understanding and loving and wants to work with me to get myself back to normal. I want to get my libido back, but the last few times we've made out and initiated sex, I feel myself starting to panic, and I have to stop things from going any further. I need help, bestie. How do I get back to how things were? I feel this situation so hard. Having low sex drive and no sex drive is one of the most defeating things in a relationship, because it's just something that not enough people talk about. And when you're missing that romantic connection, like even if you're like best buds and you feel so comfortable in front of them and they're your best friend and you feel safe and you feel like you're home, you still have to keep the spark there with the romantic side of a relationship. And when that starts to go, it really causes a ton of anxiety. And there's been so many times that when I have, sexy time has been initiated, I've had a full on anxiety attack because there's like this pressure to like perform and to feel good. And for women, it takes so much longer for us to get to that point. And for us, it's so mental. And that's, I think, something that I discovered, is that it's so mental. Whereas with men, I feel like it is mental, but a lot of it's physical. Like I've said, men can see
Totally.
us fully clothed, looking fucking greasy hair,
And come in their
makeup.
pants.
Yeah.
I'm not even I'm sorry, they will.
And they can just get going. And you're like sitting there. I could see
I need
like,
foreplay.
yeah,
But
yeah,
foreplay, like, not in a sense of
physical. It's
physical,
outside the
it's
bedroom.
outside, it's talks, it's the
Mm-hmm.
small touches when you're out and about, it's
Mm-hmm.
like the hand on the leg, it's eye contact, there's little
Or even like
things,
some dirty text messages throughout the
just a little
day,
something.
something like that for you to help mentally get in that space. Because I figured out that even though in the movies and in books, you see the last minute sexy time, right? You see them all of a sudden, they look at each other and start making out, and then they go at it and they're just like both there and then they both finish at the same time.
It's
That's
not
not
that's
real.
not
It's not
realistic.
realistic. I think for me, I realized that I'm not a last minute kind of girly. I really like to be able to know that it's going to happen the day that it's going to happen. So, whether you communicate that to them and you be like, hey, listen, I actually am not a last minute kind of girly. I'd appreciate it if we could maybe communicate. If you want to initiate it later, like let me know in the morning. Like you guys can have a little code word or something. Nash goes, he'll look at me and be like, hey, I want to hang out with you later. And that's what he'll say. And I'll know what that means, even though it seems so, oh, we're just going to hang out. But for us, it's like, he'll be like, hey, I want to hang out with you later. And I'll be like, okay. So then all day I'll be thinking about, okay, I can get myself feeling good, feeling ready, feeling sexy. If I want to put on a little matching set, or if I just know that I want to like rinse off before so I feel clean, or whatever it is to prepare yourself. Or even if you want to read some of your spicy book to get you ready, or I don't know, have you listened to audio erotica?
Quinn a little bit.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
Quinn. So this is not sponsored. I keep
No,
talking about Quinn. I
no.
absolutely love their app, but
Yeah.
there's an app called Quinn and it's audio erotica and it's awesome. So it's basically, there's
I
all
actually
different
have
kinds of
such a funny
things.
story about that.
Do you want to share it?
Let's wrap up
Okay.
our advice and
One
then
thing
we
I do
can
want to drop too, I will finish out on this. One thing that's helped me a ton is actually because I used to have those full blown panic attacks and I used to freak the fuck out, is removing a sense when it comes to that moment. And something that helps me sometimes is either using like a blindfold, even though it could be like, oh, blindfold
Okay.
and whatever, it's like kinky or whatever. But sometimes it can be good to like remove a sense for a woman. So whether it's blindfold or maybe, if they are under the covers, like you cover them so you don't see them. Because sometimes I feel like if you're seeing them, it can put that pressure on you if they're looking at you that you want to feel like you have to enjoy it and you have to look like you're enjoying it, and then you freak out, they're looking at you and you're like, oh my god, I'm getting in my head, I'm already mentally not there. And maybe this is just me, but maybe some of you guys out there can relate to that, where it's like, oh, they're looking at me, I have to look like I'm enjoying it, and then at that point you're already clicked out mentally and you're thinking about, your mind isn't there, where you should really just be able to like focus in on the physical feeling that's going on. And honestly, putting on a blindfold, or if they're, hanging around in some other parts of your body, you can like cover them with a blanket or something. And that way you're able to really just enjoy and be in the moment. And really, actually, all that you're doing is feeling the physical sensation that's going on to your body. And I feel like that's helped me a ton to be able to just tap back into the physical part of it instead of like focusing so much on the mental. So that's my piece of advice. And also just know that it happens. Like your libido
it
is going to come and
happens.
go.
It happens
This happens to so many people.
often.
Yeah, so
So
often. So you're
often.
not alone. And I really appreciate you sharing that because I know
I
that so
also
many people
about this
struggle with it.
story, I snapped a little bit in the middle of that
Mm-hmm.
story because I was nervous that that story was going to go sideways and you weren't going to have a supportive partner,
Snaps to the mans.
but I am really happy for you that you
Mm-hmm.
were able to have that conversation. Obviously hate that it was under
Those
like the
circumstances.
circumstances, but I hope that you feel comfortable going to him from
Mm-hmm.
here on out, and the fact that you feel loved and
Mm-hmm.
supported
And he wants to help you through it is so
is so
important.
important, and I
Yeah.
just feel like that communication is so key, and I'm just really happy for you in that sense,
Yeah.
and I do feel like that is going to also help you because it's a mental blockage when you're thinking about things that mentally and physically, like, you need to be working together as a woman, like, you
Yeah.
really, really do, and when you start even the smallest fraction of thinking, like, something's a little off, you're gonna be off anyways,
Yeah.
so being able to communicate that and having that safe
Received.
space
Yeah,
and
is
having it
awesome.
received, I
Mm.
think really happy for you,
Yeah, snaps for the men out there who understand. If you want your man to get to know you, just have them get to know your cycle. Have them get to know what it's like to
totally.
be a woman. They'll never fully understand, but they can at least hear you out and be like, gosh, I can't believe you go through that. But it's awesome to hear that there's guys out there who are able to receive that because it's something that so many women struggle with. You're not alone in that at all. And yeah, we're really happy that you're able to share that
Yeah,
and
definitely.
to have that be received well. Okay, do you wanna share your audio erotica story?
I
I'm
will,
scared.
I will. Well, no, okay, so
Is it a funny story
kind
or
of. No,
okay.
it actually is, and okay, like Sophia said, this is not sponsored at all, but I go to a gym and we expressed this on the last pod how it's more centered around families. So I go to a gym.
You go to a Lifetime.
I do go to a Lifetime
Yeah,
and tons of families, tons of moms, tons of dads, and things like that. And I usually take their classes. So I'm in there with stunning, gorgeous, hot moms. They drop the kids off at school, they're coming out.
a dream.
A lot of time I get there and I'll walk, I'll do a little bit of cardio either before or after. And I've got a pair of the Air Maxes
Oh, yeah, so I
that
had Quinn sent me actually their custom-made Air Maxes, the Apple headphones,
totally
and it's the Quinn label on the side. It's
on
got
the
the little
side.
winky
It's got the little
face, and
winky
then it
face and
says
it says
Quinn.
Quinn. Okay,
So
so
slay.
it's so slay. And this mom, and you totally tell she's a hot mom. And she kind of approached me and she was like, I love your earphones. Is your name Quinn? And I'm like,
Mm,
no,
conversation
it's
starter.
not. And I was like, no, it's not. She's like, oh, I was just wondering, like, that's so cool that you got them customized. How did you do that? And I was like, you know what? I had to kind of vibe out the conversation for a second because I didn't know how I was gonna approach explaining this app to this woman.
audio. I listen to audio erotica in
Totally.
my
And
ears.
so I was like, "Oh, you know what? Uh, it's a brand, and they happen to send a couple pairs of these amazing earphones to my sister who supports the brand and uses it. And yeah, it's a platform in which you can listen to things." And she's like, "What kind of things?" And I was like,
There it
"Oh
is.
God, here we go." I was like, "Do you read smutty books?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay, this is an app in which you can listen to almost like character like
Yeah.
scenarios
Mhm.
and things like that." So I
Basically trying to put it in a that was like the most politically
it
correct way
it
you could have
is
gone
because
around it. I would have been like, "Oh, it's audio erotica."
Sophia would have been like, "Yeah, when you need a little
Need a little oomph,
mm-mm."
you know? Little oomph
Uh,
at the gym.
but it was also we were just talking about things being so well received, and I think she probably went and checked it out a little later.
Let's hope
But
so.
yeah,
It's a
it's
really
just
great
that's so
thing.
funny
Like using tools
because
like that is really funny.
it is super funny,
Yeah.
and I didn't think like I don't know. It just
We're really hooking up Quinn here,
I don't
but we
know.
love them. We're huge
Huge
fans.
fans.
Like it's just
Huge
such a
fans.
great platform and it's great for women. There was this whole thing on Book Talk recently that some men, of course, like let us fucking have one thing,
Oh
okay? Let
God.
us be in our Book Talk world. But there's this one video of this guy that he posted and went super viral
Okay.
talking about how basically it's like book talk is porn. It's pornography. How is it right that women are like reading
Oh,
that? And
I
it's like the
saw
double standard of
this.
like, oh, it's the same thing as guys watching porn. It's like it's two completely different things.
It's
Like
two
it's
completely
not even
different
something that
things.
I want to pour time and energy into arguing against or for because it's just ridiculous that he could even make that claim. But it's such a different experience. Like if you read smutty books, you understand there's a
I wanna
huge
get into
difference.
it. I'm sorry, I want to, like, fight that fight right now
It's
because
so ridiculous. It's two completely different experiences. However, I will say that there is a line though. Sometimes I feel like I've had some of you guys reach out to me too, saying that you read some of these books and they're not like fantasy. You know, you're not having
mm,
dragons and fairies and bat boys that are fucking you, you know, like that's not real. That is so out of the realm of being real that it's kind of a fun world to live in. Whereas there's some books that
there's
are
some books
very
where it's
real,
real.
like it's like a work, like a boss and client moment or like whatever, where it's very real and you can compare your relationship or you can set these unrealistic standards. Are there women out there that maybe compare their relationship to these books? For sure. Like, I'm not going to deny that. But overall, it's just a world for us to mentally, again, going back to the mental thing with women, for us to just be able to escape in and it makes us feel good and it can help you in the bedroom. You can
Totally.
read, there's so many scenarios that I've read that I'm like, oh my God, that'd be so fun to try out. Or like, you know, introduce that kind of energy in the bedroom. Use it as inspiration.
And I can't confidently sit here and tell you that I want to get fucked
Mhm.
like girls get fucked in pornos.
No,
No, like I'm
no.
sorry. I'm gonna like leave it at that
Yeah,
because that's like not
it's not real. It is so not the real experience of what happens in the bedroom. And that's a whole different thing. Is that like a lot of these books too are written by women. So it's a female gaze book, which the porn industry is not female gaze at all. Is there
mm-mm.
safe things out there in that world? Yes, very small percentage. But overall, it's just like the way that we experience that kind of stuff is so different than men. And it just is, it's not even comparable. That just really made me so mad when I saw that video go super viral and so many and a lot of women in the comments were agreeing with it too. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Are you
Are you
joking?
joking? Why are we even talking about that? Okay. Anyways, let's go
On
to
to
the
the
next one.
next. Hi, I'm 25 and I've been needing some advice. My boyfriend of 3 years cheated on me with a family friend who knew we were dating and that I also wasn't fond of. They're together now and plaster it all over social media as if I never existed. He broke up with me after I found out he cheated, and they couldn't even wait a week before they
Oh
started
God.
dating and publicly putting their relationship online. I'm over him, but I can't bring myself to get over how he betrayed me and move on from what he did. Kisses from London.
You guys,
Soph Soph wants to
I'll come in
tussle.
swinging. I'll come in fucking swinging. I'm not even kidding you. Here's the thing. when it comes to being cheated on, you need to allow yourself to be fucking angry.
Mhm.
Like, you have every right to feel angry. You have every right to honor the relationship that you had and honor the love that was there and the
Mhm.
good moments. But at the same time, you're allowed to fucking rage and set the world on fire if you need to. It's just not okay.
I like this story just makes me so upset. Just for a couple different reasons.
Go
Obviously, I
ahead.
do feel like you might have been dealing with someone who is an extremely insecure person.
Any insecure man will be a cheater.
100%. He will seek validation from multiple people at
Mhm.
one time.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a little 2 cents, at least for that girl. You lose him how you get him. And a cheater is a cheater. Like, you need to know that down to your bones. I'm sure a lot of friends say you dodged a bullet, you deserve better, like there's better out. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. You don't need to be dealing with someone who is so insecure. They jump from person to person. They plaster it on social media.
Mm-hmm. It's a dirty dick.
It's a dirty dick.
It's a dirty dick. And we
That
don't want that. You don't want
you
that.
don't want that.
Nobody wants that for you.
I don't know. I know this feeling so well, and I feel for
The
you.
plastering on social media is so
It
frustrating.
is so hard
Yeah.
because you're sitting there and you're like, how is it so easy? Yeah.
It's like, you never posted me, and here you
Totally.
are
Just
posting
out and
somebody
about.
else. Ridiculous. And also, of
Oh my
course, it's a
God.
friend. It's probably the one that he told you to never worry about, because that's how it always fucking is. They're
I
just friends. They're just friends. No, you're not.
The family friends need to get the fuck out.
Yeah, family friends. What
Actually,
the fuck?
no, they deserve each other.
Yeah. No, they do. Actually, they do deserve each other.
frankly,
There we go.
have so much fun.
That's the universe.
And when he cheats on you,
Mm-hmm.
I hope you
Don't
learn.
come crying. Don't come crying to
Don't
me.
do it.
Okay, we're going to end off with a funny story. And I think it's time that I share my own story
Oh my
that's
God.
relatable
I
to
know it's
this, in a
coming.
sense.
I know something you don't. And you're gonna in
Yeah,
like
it's funny.
5 minutes.
Okay, this is a funny, embarrassing story. I wanted to share my most embarrassing story with all the besties. My name is Paige, and I was down visiting my boyfriend's family for the second time. But this was the first time I was staying at his mom's apartment and legit spending a decent time around her. While she was at work, my boyfriend and I were working from home at her apartment. His little brother was there as well, but on break for college. I had to do my morning shitty poo after my coffee and went to the bathroom. TMI, but it was a lot, so I was a little worried about clogging, but I flushed and prepared to get the plunger. As I watched it, thinking it would go down, it just kept rising and rising, and I swear it all went down slow-mo. When the water got to the top of the bowl and started rising over the seat, I literally stuck my hand down into the toilet and tried to literally dig to try and unclog this toilet because I'd never seen it this bad. I started screaming for my boyfriend, and he came running in and was like, "Oh no." I said, "Get me towels, please." He ran to get towels, and meanwhile, my literal shit is overflowing onto his mom's apartment bathroom floor. His little brother heard the chaos and came out of his room. This is the first time I met him, I may add. And to see me on my hands and knees trying to stop the water from overflowing more. And he told me to turn the knob to the side of the toilet to stop the water. This stopped the water, and it finally stopped overflowing. But then the entire floor was covered in my toilet water and remnants everywhere. His brother literally saw my shit on the floor. I was mortified. I had to use the Bathurst and shower curtain. I don't know if that was right. Bathurst? I don't know if that's right. Is that a brand or something? Anyway, she had to use the shower curtain to clean up a bunch and threw them out. Then I had to go to Target and get all new bathroom stuff, and I cleaned the bathroom for the rest of the day, and also had to take a toothbrush to my nails to clean them from the digging. His mom still doesn't know to this day what actually happened. She only knows that there was a little bathroom situation. LOL. Anyways, I wanted to share the story because it's funny to look back on and will 100% be the most embarrassing story I'm sure I'll ever have to tell. I hope. Anyways, thank you for always being so real and genuine, Sophia. You are my favorite. Okay, first of all, you're my favorite. And second of all, girl, we've all had those poopy stories where you clog the toilet and it starts to rise. I personally have never had an overflown toilet. I've had it to the fucking brim where like a centimeter more of water and it would come over. And it's scary, but to reach your hand in the toilet to try to dig it out.
Level. Truly.
Yeah. No, and I get it. You know, fight or flight or freeze instincts, and you fought, girl. You fought hard. And I want to share my embarrassing story of the time that I shit my pants on a date with Nash. I was in a jumpsuit, which is very pertinent information, was not wearing a bra or underwear underneath because I just don't wear that
Nope.
ever. And we were on like a romantic little date, and I trusted the fart and I shit my pants. And it was the weirdest thing because I had no stomach. I was not in pain. Like I didn't have a stomach ache.
No.
I didn't feel nauseous. And I just kept shitting my pants, you guys. It did not stop. And it was horrible, but I feel like that really cemented our relationship. We were like 2 years in dating at that point, so we were already comfortable with each other, but that really, I think, sealed the deal for us.
Mhm.
And I'm like, now you're literally stuck with me because you've seen me shit my pants
And
all over.
not only shit her pants,
Yeah.
but she completely stripped down
Yeah.
where they were at the date in the middle of the street.
In the middle of the
naked,
street. Yeah, because
to get her shitty jumpsuit off.
Yeah.
And covered herself in the
poopy
blanket.
butt.
Literally called us and was like, we're coming home. Start the fucking shower.
Yeah. I'm like,
Start
I
the
shit
shower.
my pants.
I shit my pants.
My
And we're
mom's
like,
dying laughing. Like, she doesn't give a fuck
What?
about my safety. She's just dying laughing.
I know, she just thinks it's hilarious.
She's like, that's like disgusting. And I'm
Yeah.
like, thanks, Mom.
So Sophia comes
it is.
wrapped in swaddling cloth.
Yep. Didn't get to finish the dinner. And the date night was ruined. But it's just a funny story to look back on. We all have those
We all
stories.
do.
We've all
And it
shit our
helps.
pants a little bit.
You know
We've
what?
all left some skid marks in our pantaloons. And that's just what it's like. It's the human
Skids.
existence. The skids.
Ugh.
Skids by Kim.
Oh my-
Skids by Kim. Oh my God. Okay, so we're gonna finish the episode.
We can't. We're gonna.
I know at the beginning we said, "Oh my gosh, we're like feeling so good. Our brain's working now." Now our brain's not working.
No,
anymore.
now it's gonna get into like we're gonna say some really crazy shit.
Yeah, like our cells
and we'll be
are not
canceled just as fast as this fucking YouTube got up.
Yes. But that was fun.
I
think
liked
it was
it.
good. I
don't
think
know.
it was good. You guys
Give
let
us
know.
feedback. I don't know.
Yes.
Is this fun? Should I sit here more often?
Yeah, I guess.
Know.
I mean, you're stuck here because now you're the official co-host.
I am the official co-host.
We're stuck here. But you guys, don't forget to share your stories, share your bestie tales with us. We're going to get in a good groove of this. We're really excited to share more of them and read your guys' stories. They're so fun. It's like the highlight of our weeks. But thanks for joining
going
us.
through them.
Yeah.
And you guys have some gems.
I know.
And we're really
It was so hard to pick. It was so hard to pick. But thank you guys for joining us for this week's episode of Bestie Tales. Don't forget to submit your stories
in the links below.
In the show notes below. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.